Every year during the month of November, we are asked to think about the next life. The month started out with the Feast of All Souls, and throughout the month we remember those who have died. We also think about the end times. It kind of fits in with the day today. We gained an hour's sleep, but we lost a lot of light at this time of day. It's much darker earlier now, right? So maybe to think about the end of life, as it were. Not meant to be morbid, but to make an act of faith. Two questions that might be on your minds tonight. Do you believe in the resurrection or not? Now, among the Jewish community, there were two main groups that were very big, very popular, the Sadducees and the Pharisees. The Sadducees said there is no resurrection, and the Pharisees said yes, there is. So they were constantly debating against each other. Well, what about you? Well, as for me, I believe in the resurrection. I think most of you do as well. First of all, it is on a very personal level. The human being is so much greater than any other creature on earth. Yes, animals have arms and legs and the five senses and maybe even a brain and power of communication, but they're nothing like the human being. Think of how we have changed humanity from caveman days to this technological age of the 21st century. Animals pretty much live the same unless we provide for them some nice housing. So we accumulate knowledge and we improve decade after decade. Just think of all the great things that happen in your lifetime, in my lifetime. Amazing. Well, to me, that's just unthinkable, incredible, impossible that humanity doesn't live on. There has to be more than this. That's why I believe in eternal life. And of course, did Jesus prove that there was resurrection? At least 3 persons were raised from the dead, besides himself. There was the daughter of Jairus, there was the son of the widow of Naim, and of course there was Lazarus. Now the daughter of Jairus and the widow's son and Naim, they were raised from the dead, if you were, on their deathbed. The young girl was up in the bedroom, and they said she's died, and he said no, she isn't. He called her, and she woke up. And the man was being carried out to the cemetery on a coffin or whatever. And so some critics would say, well, they really weren't dead. You know, Jesus knows how to wake people out of a coma. So when he heard that Lazarus was dying, he didn't go to his bedside. He allowed him to die, and by the time he got there, Lazarus was 4 days dead. No doubt that Lazarus was a corpse, wrapped like a mummy, put in a tomb. Remember when Jesus had unrolled the stone, they said it's going to smell. This is the stench of human decay. So there was no doubt that Lazarus was a dead man, and Jesus called him forth. So hopefully we believe in the resurrection. We believe that there is life after life. Whether we live a long life, 90-some years, or a very short life, the next life has no time limit. It is eternity. It is forever. The second question might be asked is, what is heaven like? Now, in the gospel today, there was that silly debate from the Sadducees saying, you know, a woman had 7 husbands, they all died, none of them had children. And now, you know, when she gets to heaven, whose wife will she be, number 1, 2, 5, 7, whatever? Jesus said, in heaven, they don't marry. What does that mean? Now, it may seem sad to some of you, when I get to heaven, I'm not going to be married to my spouse. It may be good news for others of you. Whatever. But marriage is exclusive, and it should be. When I prepare a couple for marriage during their engagement preparation, they have to sign a document saying, do you believe in the 3 properties of a Catholic marriage? First of all, marriage is permanent, till death do we part. Marriage is exclusive, excluding all others from sexual activity. And marriage is procreative. If you're young enough and healthy enough, you'd have children. And they have to agree to that in order to get married. So marriage is exclusive. So if you're in heaven and you have an exclusive relationship, that means there's favoritism in heaven. You love some people more than others, and that can't be heaven. That's earth. So in heaven, we're all married to each other in a sense, or better yet, we are wedded to God. And that was the image that was always in the Jewish Bible. God is the groom, and all God's chosen people are the bride. So there's equal love. We don't love anyone less or more, whatever. But what is heaven like? Paul wrote in Corinthians, eye has not seen, ear has not heard, hasn't even entered our heart's imagination what heaven is like. I think we all have some ideas. You know, you've all heard a joke similar to this, the one I'm about to tell. Two men were great baseball enthusiasts. They played in minor league baseball. And they promised if whoever dies first, come back and tell the other one whether there's a baseball diamond in heaven. So one of the guys dies first. And sure enough, the next day he appears to his friend, still living. He says, good news and bad news. So he says, there's a beautiful diamond here in heaven. It's an amazing baseball diamond. Bad news, you're pitching tomorrow. Okay. You know, I think heaven had better have lots of ice cream because I love ice cream. I like to go to the beach. Oh, heaven has beaches. We have no idea. What is our body going to be like? Well, I Googled a couple days ago, getting ready for this homily, at what age is our body perfect? And it said our body is perfect at about age 35. Well, I've been 40 years on the downside, falling apart. What is our body like? I don't know. But I know the body will not be limited by anything. It won't be limited by fatigue. It won't be limited by disease. It won't be limited by anything. The only clue we have to the resurrected body is the resurrected body of Jesus Christ. After he rose from the dead, his body was much different. It seems like he could disguise himself if he wanted to. Remember, he's walking down the road to Emmaus 7 miles. If you're walking with someone 7 miles, don't you think you might notice if they had holes in their hands? They didn't know who he was. But later on that same night, he said, look at the holes in my hands, look at the slash in my side. He seemed to be everywhere. If you read all 4 Gospels, the last chapters of all 4 Gospels called the resurrection chapters, Jesus was everywhere on that day we call Easter Sunday. He appeared to Mary Magdalene in the morning. He walked 7 miles back and forth in the afternoon. He appeared to the apostles at night. So he seemed to be able to bilocate or trilocate, be in 2 or 3 places at the same time. Yet he was human. People said, maybe he's a ghost. He said, no, give me some fish. That's right in the Bible. So he took some fish, started chomping on the fish. Ghosts don't eat. So maybe that's a clue. It's going to be a perfect body, obviously no ills, no problems, nothing wrong. But we won't be angels. We are created human beings. We'll be human beings in heaven. So those are some of the things that I looked at in today's gospel. What will heaven be like? And is there resurrection? We're going to say in the creed in just a few moments, I believe in the resurrection and the life. And hopefully we all believe. I want us to enjoy life here on earth, and so did Jesus. He said, I've come that you might have life to the full. He wants us to enjoy life. It's not meant to be misery. But we all have our ups and downs. We all carry our crosses. But we know that one day there is another age to happen, another age to come, the age of forever. Augustine realized the human condition when he said, our hearts are restless until they rest in thee. Nothing on earth makes us perfectly happy. Hopefully we're pretty much happy, but all the money in the world won't make you happy. All the possessions, all the degrees after your name, all the big houses and cars. Hopefully they're good and they make us somewhat happy, but nothing makes us perfectly happy until we reach true happiness itself. Now, that's what I believe. I believe in the resurrection. I believe in heaven. And I believe I will be there someday. But for now, heaven can wait.